May dagdag na paraan laban sa COVID-19. Together, we can be the Solusyon Plus. Bida Plus sa maayos na daloy ng hangin. Bida Plus sa maikling pisikal na interaksyon. Bida Plus sa pagsuporta sa bakuna. Bida Plus sa mga kwento ng kaligtasan sa Bida Barangay. Sa dagdag na pag-iingat, maraming buhay ang maliligtas. Bida Solusyon Plus laban sa COVID-19.
Organic acai has very high levels of antioxidants and essential nutrients that help keep your immune system strong. Organique acai premium blend and freeze-dried capsules daily to help increase your resistance against harmful viruses. Keep yourself and your family healthy and protected with Organique.
Mahalagang paalala, ang Organic acai premium blended freeze-dried capsule ay hindi gamot at hindi dapat gamitin panggamot sa anumang uri ng sakit. Of all the tough decisions you have to make today, your family's health doesn't have to be one of them. Not when you have the choice to go organic and live full, natural, and holistic lives. So start your day right. Load up on antioxidants. Choose only organic superfoods. And keep the momentum going. We're making it easy for you. Live organic, choose organic. It's easier than you think. Mahalagang paalala, ang Organic acai premium blended freeze-dried capsule ay hindi gamot at hindi dapat gamitin panggamot sa anumang uri ng sakit.
Previously on Wellness Wednesdays.
Yeah, nag-feel talaga yung kidneys. So if it's swollen, no, kapag ka nasa-swollen na yung...
Life. But
Yes,
does that
you can
mean,
enjoy life.
does that mean, Doc, if I have chronic kidney disease, you know, my
Wellness Wednesdays with Organique. We care because you matter.
Hi, magandang hapon and welcome to Wellness Wednesday with Organique. So this week's topic, I'm sure, is something a lot of you can relate to. But before we jump into that, I just want to invite you guys to play our game this week. So sa game namin, you can check us out at our Facebook page at Organique Inc. And check out this post. So in this post is a crossword puzzle, and whoever gets the correct answers, screenshot your answers and comment them down below for a chance to win an Organique Acai gift pack. Now, we're going to be announcing the winners at the end of this episode, so stick around to see if you actually won an Organique gift pack. Now, anyways, jumping into the topic for today. So the topic for today, like I said, it's something that almost all of us can relate to. Alam mo ba, 4 out of 5 people in their life have experienced back pain. Now, actually, I'm not sure how true this is, because how many people do you know haven't experienced back pain? As in, like, parang, especially with this pandemic, everyone at some point has experienced back pain, and it's not an uncommon thing, right? So to talk about back pain for us here today, we have our resource person. It's a new guest here on the show. See, Dr. Paul Brown Bodis. Now, Dr. Brown is a doctor of chiropractic, and he is from the New York Chiropractic University. He is also a member of the Association of Professional Chiropractors of the Philippines. So welcome, Doc. How are you?
I'm just fine. I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, we're so happy to have you, Doc. So since, first of all, welcome to the show. I just wanted to get to introduce you to our audience over here. So, Doc, can you tell us a bit more about how you got into the practice in the first place? What inspired you?
Sure. I'm a military guy, U.S. Air Force. That's how I found my way to Philippines, actually. I'm a straight arrow guy. I did my pre-med to go into regular medical school, but along the way, I had to correct my diet, especially after I had, some problems in the military. So I'm correcting my diet, and I'm learning, natural healing things. And so once I finished my pre-med, I was pretty much into natural healing. So I wanted to apply some of those. I wanted to advise my patients about them. And there wasn't a lot of acceptance of herbs back then. That was 1986. There wasn't much acceptance about manual therapy, chiropractic, these kinds of alternative healing areas. So I really wanted to help my family, my mom and my cousins, and I wanted to be effective and give them something that I thought could relieve them. And that is the reason why I started seeking for the kind of doctor that accepted natural healing more easily, so that I can bring it into my practice and offer it to the community. That's how I sought out chiropractic. I never really knew about it until I was like, well, what kind of doctor can I be that I can use herbs, vitamins, and manual manipulation?
Right.
That's how I found out about it.
Actually, even ngayon, diba? Like in today's environment, people are still not very familiar with chiropractor care, and they're not very familiar with the alternative medicine. That's why we have this kind of show, to give people educational talks. So I can't imagine in the 80s, how it was for you, and the challenges trying to educate people into that.
Yes, this was a challenge then, and it's a challenge now. So it's quite a bit. I'm very happy here in the Philippines to see how much it's really not chiropractic as much, but natural health care. There's so many natural health vendors around. I can find my grape seed, and I can find all my herbs that I need, my megadose vitamins. I see advertisements about vitamin C. I was kind of shocked, but I came here specifically looking for natural healing, and that's how I bumped into Organique, and that's why I'm here today, because
we're happy
I'm
to have you.
Very good.
We're happy to have you. Thank you. So, Doc, can you clarify with us for people who may not know chiropractic care so much? So, what is a chiropractor? Ano ba yung roles and responsibilities? Is it just about the back?
No, I'm very happy to introduce the public to true chiropractic. Chiropractors, and number one, Our doctors, we have to have a doctorate. It takes 10 years. We have to have pre-med, cadaver lab. We have to know all the nerves, all of the bones, all of the muscles. We have to pass a board exam like any other doctor. And then we go into our internship and other things that's necessary to be licensed in a state. I'm licensed in the state of New York and Pennsylvania for chiropractic, and that allows me to practice here because there's not any chiropractic schools in the Philippines, so they allow a foreigner like me from California to practice here. What chiropractic is focused on is the realignment of body structures, bones, joints, muscles, nerves, because we have found that this highly affects your body's health and nutrition and stamina and potential. So you can imagine if you're not sitting correctly or you're bad posture or not sleeping well, yes, eventually you will have issues and problems, but we usually don't associate internal organ problems with chiropractic. But the fact is your body is just not working well. And we have found through manipulation and realigning the body structures, your full potential comes out and you just begin to feel better, and things that was not better before you started chiropractic therapy then gets better later. So we have specific diagnosis, but in general, it helps to improve your body's potential and immune system and these kinds of things that people really need that goes under the radar through other practices.
So what you're saying, Doc, is sa ibang medical practices is that ang mga sakit sa loob, like the stomach or the heart, it's not just isolated to the stomach or the heart. So related lahat ng organs, diba? And then what it sounds like you're saying also is that because related ang lahat ng body, the whole system, when we start taking care of something like our posture, our spine, then everything starts to get better and starts to heal because the system is working together. Is that correct, Doc? Am I hearing that correctly?
You're absolutely correct. There's nerves that all the nerves to every organ, every place in the body comes out the spinal column. And because of our posture and because of accidents and sports things and not really taking care of ourselves and not having available doctors of chiropractic who really have the science down and are experts in it, these things affect our internal organs. We go to medical doctors. Sometimes they do a great job, and sometimes we have residuals and problems continue on, sometimes for years. And doctors of chiropractic have been found to be very effective for that kind of thing that just did not get well through conventional care because we're realigning those structures that's putting pressure on those nerves that's causing these internal organs not to function 100%. And we need to be 100%, especially now during the pandemic.
Oh, I think what you're saying, Doc, also is it sounds like parang ano siya, like if we're talking about, a house, the nerves and everything that's running through that is really like the electricity and the pipes. And if you have something that's clogged, then everything goes wrong in the house. If wala nang electricity, if it's a brownout, you can't function properly sa bahay. So even if you get someone to fix the light, change the light bulb, it doesn't mean that it's gonna work kasi brownout pa rin.
Yes. Oh, we need someone like you to speak up for chiropractic because you're making it clear for the people. Just think about a frame of a house. Think about the cinder blocks and the steel and the wood that creates the frame of the house. And then after I watched them here in the Philippines build the houses in the barrio. After they get the frame, then they'll put in the electricity and some of the other niceties. But if you don't have a good, strong frame, the whole thing comes down. And in a way, that's what chiropractic focuses on. Your body frame that's holding in the electricity, the plumbing, those windows and everything rely on a strong foundation, and that's what chiropractic focuses on, realigning and making sure your body frame foundation, which includes the muscles, nerves, and the bone joints, the whole thing. We help you make it become stronger, advise you and show you the right way through chiropractic adjustments, and then you have a good body frame throughout your life, you see?
Yeah, and it makes perfect sense. So let's dive into that frame, Doc. Now, let's talk more about the back and when there's problems. So first of all, what is back pain? Like, when do we know that there is a problem in our frame?
Sure, that's very important, because you can have, in chiropractic, we have kind of like 3 levels of working on a person. One is acute back pain, or you just got it from your sleep, and you're not sleeping well, your posture's not well, your mom says sit up straight, but you didn't, or overworking, these kinds of things. That's very mild. Acute means it just happened. So that takes on a treatment that is not very drastic. It's just an easy kind of thing where you're getting chiropractic adjustment, and as we know, sometimes massage gets rid of those. But when you ignore sometimes back pain and you don't do preventative treatment, or you don't get screened, or you don't follow up, sometimes when the doctor of chiropractic may say, hey, we need an x-ray, we need to really find out what's going on in there, then things can go to a chronic stage. That's when it's more than just pain. It's a degenerative condition. It's a breakdown of the framework of that frame of your house. And now we have some serious problems. That's the difference.
So just like other diseases that we discussed dito sa Wellness Wednesday, Doc, it sounds like, for example, I'll give you an example. Like, we had an episode about UTI, and then UTI, it can be something that's acute, ngayon lang, I just got UTI today, and then I can take antibiotics and fix it. And then may ibang cases kasi na I don't fix my UTI, I don't take the antibiotics, so meron na akong kidney disease. I have a bigger problem on my hands. So is that what it's like for back pain also?
Exactly, which is why it's so good to have this episode, because what's going on is when you first get the back pain, it's not so bad. You can get some treatment, but most of us kind of ignore it because we have to work. We're directed. I see you guys taking the jeepneys, long hours. They're sitting on there, then they're working all day. Oh my God. So that's something that can be fixed pretty quickly right away. But if you ignore it and degenerative arthritis comes in, and you're having bulging disc, and the framework is shifting where you got some real serious problems that can manifest, now you got a serious problem. Now you need the x-rays and the MRIs and to find out exactly what happened because you ignored it. That may take longer treatment. That may take a doctor of chiropractic to diagnose it and give you their advice as to what the protocol is to fix it, instead of letting it get worse and worse and worse.
Well, that sounds very extreme, Doc, that I can't imagine ever having to go for an MRI just because my back pain ako. So let's talk about back pain and the symptoms first of all. Like, what does it feel like before I get to the extremes?
Yeah, so generally, it catches you at a certain time. You can feel that it's not normal. If you're a young person, you're doing sporting activities and your running potential is not up, you can feel some radiation of pain going from the back, sometimes down the leg a little bit. But in general, you just don't feel well. And in particular, you're feeling this discomfort and pain, and it's affecting you to a degree that you can't work well, you can't do your sports well. So those are mild symptoms. But when we get to the place where you can't walk well and you're feeling this constant decrease in your, as we are seeing on the screen there, your range of motion is getting bad. You can't turn thoroughly. You just can't perform. This shooting pain is what I was describing as nerve energy pain. These things are saying you have a serious problem, you need to be properly screened by a doctor of chiropractic in particular. It doesn't matter who diagnosed you. You can get the same diagnosis from any serious orthopedic practitioner. But once you get the diagnosis, you have to get the correct treatment.
Mm-hmm. So, Doc, what you're saying really is the differences between yung acute back pain and the chronic back pain is yung acute is really just like a small bother in the normal life, whereas the chronic one, it really stops you from doing regular stuff like turning, for example. My sakit now when you're turning, and that's a normal everyday thing. So parang the chronic really affects the daily life. Is that correct, Doc?
Chronic and severe accidents. We have to place that in there because sometimes, you know, we're working on the farm or we're doing some sporting activities like the guys on the, you know, the little, they do the wheelies on the skateboards and things like that. And they'll fly up in the air and come down real hard. So when they come in to see me, I have to ask them, did you hear a crack? And sometimes they say yes. And I'm like, oh my God, we have to get an x-ray to find out if you actually fractured a bone in there. And if there is a fracture, the doctors of chiropractic are responsible doctors. We have to say, I see a fracture on there. Now you have to go to the orthopedic in order to get proper medical care for that. So chiropractic has a limited scope of practice. Like every doctor, they have a scope of practice. And if they find that it's fractures or cancer or other kinds of debilitating degenerative diseases that's out of their scope of practice, we are responsible doctors that must refer you out. So therefore, if you're having this chronic pain that's continuing over a long period of time, sometimes years even, now that's why you need a full diagnostic workup and determine if chiropractic is the appropriate place for you to be.
So, Doc, and I think, you know, what we notice here on our Wellness Wednesday is it's actually the same for yung ibang sakit. Like, for example, my high blood ako doesn't mean that because I have high blood, I go diretso na to the cardiologist. Usually I go to my general practitioner or sino yung lifestyle medicine or just like any clinic. Is that the same with chiropractor? Like I am the first before I go to the orthopedic?
Yes, in general, when you're having back pain, that's acute, that's early, that's just come on. It is very important to come in to see a doctor of chiropractic because it may be something that's very minute, not very serious. It can be cleared up easily. You're back to work. But when those other symptoms come in that you were mentioning before, the lack of range of motion, the shooting pain, this in a way we can say clearly it's disabling you. When you have this lack of range of motion and you're building a house and you can't twist well, you can have serious problems. Driving a truck and you have this shooting pain down your leg, you can't press on the brake well. This is a disability. You do not have the ability to perform your body's activities 100%. When you have a disability, now this is more of a chronic or a serious type of injury that needs proper care, and chiropractic can handle it as long as the diagnostic, what we find, our findings are within the scope of chiropractic. So yes, we need this education, and this program is doing it. There are some things that are outside the scope of chiropractic, like fractures. But there are some things that we may not go to a chiropractor for, and we just get medications for pain, but it doesn't cure the problem, like disc bulges, herniations. These things are under the scope of chiropractic, and if we ignore them because there's just not a healing from the other practitioners, and then you ignore going to a chiropractor, now as time goes on, that disc bulge gets worse. So if you don't correct it, it's going to get worse and worse and worse because we're not really fully understanding what a doctor of chiropractic can do for those problems.
Mm-hmm. So Doc, what you're saying, is yung chronic back pain. It sounds very extreme. Pero ano ba yung causes when it comes to these kinds of back pains?
Yes. So oftentimes the primary cause for many of the back pain is an injury. We actually have a sport injury or something of that, and that's where the strain comes in. So straining is usually as a result of some type of activity that we've overworked. We stretch too far. Sometimes our coaches in the gym says, no gain without pain, but that pain sometimes, if we go too far, can really injure us. And so your postural problems, such as where it says structural problems there, that is a result, again, of constantly being in a position that's causing this a disunity of your frame, just the same as some kind of stress that's put on your house frame, and it can eventually break. Arthritis and osteoporosis are more of the advanced kind of degenerative changes that occurs in the joints of the body. When it comes to arthritis, arthroitis, inflammation of a joint. Arthro means joint. Whereas osteoporosis is something different. It's a degenerative condition that's thinning the bone itself. And now this can become a very serious problem. Chiropractic can actually work with all of these areas. So it's important to look at these causes as something very important. But as we mentioned earlier, when it comes to chiropractic, we're talking about helping your body frame to help the potential of your internal organ systems also. So that means when it comes to Crohn's disease, intestinal problems, when it comes to these areas of internal organs being damaged or not functioning 100%, they send referral pain to the back. This is important. I don't want to miss this because I have many patients that come in and they think it's just something mild and, doc, I'll just take some pain relievers and you guys got some good ones here, but that doesn't correct sometimes the actual problem that's going on. So you may need a combination of being watched by a medical doctor who says, you have some kidney issues going on here. It's early, so we have to watch that. So then you want to also, that's where chiropractic comes in. It's not so bad that the medical doctor is going to do surgery or give you even medication sometimes. He doesn't want to do that all the time, just a little pain reliever. That's an important time to see a doctor of chiropractic because some of that kidney problem is referring pain to the back. And we're thinking it's from a strain when it's really being referred from the kidney or from the small intestines or large intestines or other issues going on with the body. That's when you need a doctor of chiropractic. That's when the stuff hits the road then, because you need a person who is educated well enough to say to you, I see you have some kidney issues, some other internal organ issues. This may be causing the nerve that goes to the back to radiate pain, referring it as back pain when you really have a dysfunction of your internal organ system that's referring the pain to the back. Now you need a chiropractor to strengthen your pain, help you with your diet, make you take that acai drink so that it won't get so bad, you see? And you won't you won't develop the kidney stone. You won't develop the surgical procedure that needs you to go and get these very serious types of treatments from the medical doctor, because when you get to that point, then the chiropractor is out the picture. You've lost that opportunity to heal yourself. That's what alternative medicine is about. That's why we are licensed through PTOC, the Philippine Institute of Alternative Healthcare, because we do fall also in that area. You got it?
Yeah. So Doc, it's like the question that just popped up a while ago that was asking about medicine. So it's not really in a I can take pain meds all I want because back pain lang. I really have to go see someone because that back pain could be the nerves sending a signal from other organs. For example, like you said, yung kidney ko may sakit, and then to send a signal to the brain, it passes through the back to say may sakit ako. And that's why we see a chiropractor. So it's not, I can't just self-medicate with painkillers or anything.
This is so important. I had an attorney who works for the MMDA, and he says, "Doc, I'm having a lot of pain back here. Can you tell me, what to do?" And I said, "Well, first we need to get the X-ray because you're older and you're the breadwinner of the family. We need to really see what's going on there so we can advise you correctly." And then, we saw the degenerative disc and a variety of issues going on there. And so what's important is when he goes to the medical doctor, he got a lot of medications, and he said, "Doc, tell me what these are." So oftentimes the medical doctors just say, "Hey, take this." Well, I said, "What's the side effect?" I'm asking him, "Do you know the side effects?" He says, "No, Doc." I said, "Okay, I'll do research." So I did. I researched each drug, and every single drug said the same thing. This helps to relieve the pain, but it does not cure the problem. We need to get that straight and clear, because the problem with the disease syndromes that affects us is because we ignored it and we didn't give it the right kind of treatment. It's fine to take the pain medication. Sometimes the problem is so bad we can't work, we can't go to school, we can't sit up well. So we need the pain medication, but we need to be educated by the medication itself when it says it does not cure the problem. Chiropractic will cure the problem. Let me say that again. In many cases where we're taking pain medications and other medications for injuries, especially to the spinal column that refers back pain to us, in many cases, that can be cured through a proper chiropractic treatment program. If you don't get anything else, please get that from Dr. Bodis. I've been doing this for 40 years, and I feel it when patients have this chronic back pain and they are ignoring a real cure because they're not being properly informed. We need you to represent the Association of Chiropractic, because you're saying the right thing to the audience. Thank you.
Thank you, Doc. So actually, I wanted to ask a question. So when we were talking about yung causes of back pain, I know people with arthritis and people with osteoporosis, my sensitivity is a lot to pain, and they're very concerned. For example, like what if they're scared to go to the chiropractor, Doc? Akala nila like, oh no, when they crack my back, like my bones are too weak, I can't take it, it might break or something, or it's gonna be painful when they crack my back kasi my arthritis ako. What do you say about that, Doc?
Well, thank you for giving me a softball pitch. And it is. I want you to know that the Doctor of Chiropractic have a number of different treatment modalities. Most people, their introduction is from the YouTube, and they see all of the cracking sounds, and so they say, "Oh, the chiropractor is going to crack my back." Well, the real terminology for that, I know I don't speak Tagalog, but that's called a chiropractic adjustment. We are adjusting the misalignment in the joints. It should be aligned very well, and sometimes we find that it's not, and we're putting it back safely. We've had 10 years of education to learn how to read the x-rays, how to diagnose properly, and what is needed to safely put the person back. Now, you don't hear people saying it hurt. You don't hear it. You're saying I was surprised, but it's very rarely have pain. But in addition to that, there are different chiropractic treatments. Some does the cracking sound, the chiropractic adjustment. Most of them do that, but many do not. We do what is called non-force chiropractic. That's what I do. That's how I practice. I'll tell you at the end at the Living Life Well Center. They have me because they know their patients sometimes are afraid of chiropractors cracking their back. So I teach chiropractic. I try to make sure that people get steam packs and ultrasound, warm ultrasound, and massage therapy. I'm there at this particular clinic because they have the myotherapy. When you do all of that, then you stretch the person or put them in certain positions that causes the bone to move back into place, the misalignment to be realigned. Sometimes it goes like butter. You can't even hear it, but the person feel it and they're like, whoa, I felt that. So you need both muscle therapy, chiropractic adjustments, but that all comes under the scope of chiropractic. Some chiropractors, they just don't want to do that. They're on a different kind of mindset as to how to treat this person, and they treat them safely according to the way that they learn. When it comes to me, I have many scientists in scientific publications who back my approach, which is a non-force chiropractic, but we add what was called adjunctive therapies. Adjunctive therapies take time. You can't see that person in 5 or 10 minutes. It takes a little while, but I find they're effective, and the person goes back and says, hey, you need to go to Dr. Bodis because he doesn't just crack you out of the sky. He takes his time with you. You see?
Right. So what you're saying, Doc, is kung may, weak bones ako kasi may osteoporosis or may arthritis or anong ibang condition, I can always see the chiropractor kasi may ibang treatments for it, not just cracking. There's a lot of other ways to go about it. Pero personally, Doc, my experience was actually different from what you were describing. Mine was cracking. Mine wasn't the really slow, not cracking one that you were saying. But I and like you said, I was just surprised. Hindi naman sakit. I was surprised. Right after they cracked it, I could move very freely, and I felt better actually instead of more pain. But I don't consider myself to have arthritis or wala akong osteoporosis, Doc. So who should be going to the chiropractor? And sino yung risk groups for back pain?
Yes, so good that you're saying these things to me so that the public can get it. In particular, these if you say sedentary environment, that's a risk because you're sitting at the computer all the time, especially now during the pandemic and everybody goes home. Yeah. And so they're working from their computer, they're not moving around, they're not properly exercising. So don't exercise. All those kinds of people are risking high impact activity without stretching, especially the sports activity, or when you're doing certain jobs, especially construction. Those things sometimes create problems, but when they say without warming up first, that's the person who starts running right away at high speed and the muscles are not ready. If you're older, it is a risk factor, especially if you haven't had pre-screenings by chiropractors along your lifetime to see. Just like, sometimes you got to go to the dentist and just, hey, check me, dentist, just to see if I'm okay. And he'll say, whoa, you got 2 or 3 cavities. Let's get them now before they create a problem. Same thing with chiropractic. I see these misalignments. Just like you, we get the adjustment. Now, let me say to you that the young person responds very well, very quickly to chiropractic. They don't need those extra additional things I was telling you. They don't need to screen usually. They don't need the ultrasound usually. But when the person is older and they have these specific conditions like obesity, like arthritis, now you have these weakened bone structures in their mind. Hey, I don't know if I want a chiropractor to crack this thing. So you have both the mindset of the person and you have the concern of the doctor who wants the patient to not experience so much pain, who wants a good cure of the problem if the person really sticks to a treatment process. And so therefore, mostly the older person or seriously injured person gets these additional things. So I would treat your grandmom, your Lola, and Lola, Lolo and Lola, I'm trying a little Tagalog here. I would treat them much differently than I would treat you. You're a younger person, your bones your articulations, your joints can take that cracking without a real issue. It responds quickly because you don't have arthritis. You don't have the degenerative injuries. You just have a bone that's out of alignment, and we can quickly put it back in alignment, and that's what you got. But if the person has internal issues like degenerative bones, that's the bones cracking up, and that kind of person, oftentimes even the medical doctor says, whoa, 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 don't go to that doctor. But in the meantime, hey, you can come to me, because not only is it under my scope of practice, I take my time, I put the steam there, I do some ultrasound, I stretch you and try to help and educate that part of your body, because I am allowed to do it. It is under my professional scope of practice, and this person does not need that fast crack like you got. In my opinion, if I can educate the body to get better and better, that person may take a little longer period of time to get that place better. All chiropractors, they all focus on different techniques. Some have the same techniques, some don't. So that's why we're here today with you to say sometimes you need a different technique if your injury condition after you've seen x-rays, etc., warrants the different techniques. So we don't have time today. Maybe you call me back to go into diversified, HIO, there's different Gonstead, and what I do, non-force. There are different techniques to approach it, and the same thing. If you want a tooth filling and you don't want the tooth pulled, then you don't go to the place that only pulls teeth, right? That's not the one you want. You know, you have your auntie or ate says, no, go to this one because they do fillings more when it comes to what you need. You got me?
Yes, I understand that. What you were saying is, first of all, parang yung risk factors is really just lifestyle related kind of stuff, and the same kind of risk factors sa ibang sakit that are also lifestyle related. For example, diabetes or heart disease is very common sa smokers, sa obesity, sa people who don't exercise, mga sedentary lifestyle. It all sounds like it's the same kind of risk factor stuff. Pero like what you were saying is that kasi everyone is a bit different in anong mga needs nila. It's very important for them to see the proper licensed professionals. Hindi lang sino-sino, no, basta-basta, like whatever treatment, it has to be whatever treatment is needed for their condition. So while we were talking about that, Doc, and let's just go into the brief different diagnosis methods, because I know that before we start our treatment, we have to diagnose, especially kung may pre-existing condition ako. So how do we go about the diagnosis in chiropractic?
Yes, it's very important to see the doctor of chiropractic as a true doctor. I'm saying you have to have a bachelor's degree. Then you have to have your full chiropractic education that could take 4, 5, or 6 years. And then they have to get the board examination. The Medicaid, Medicare, and all insurances in America must cover chiropractic. And they are what we call, your first doctor, primary care doctors. Okay, what that means is you can leave your house, go look up a doctor of chiropractic, and they must handle you with a physical examination. If they think you need x-rays, to get the x-ray. If you need the lab test, to give you the prescription for the lab test. Sometimes it could be MRI. In more serious cases, you have the CAT scan, but that's usually for the neurologist after the chiropractor sends you out. Bone scan, the same kind of. If the doctor of chiropractic believes that you may need a bone scan, he will first send you to an orthopedic surgeon or a neurologist, because they are more educated in that area. Whereas the EMG sometimes would be very important when a person has shown to be having extreme nerve issues. So these all, though, are areas that doctors of chiropractic have the right to prescribe and send you to, so that they can determine exactly what's going on. I rely on x-rays and MRIs. I rely on the radiologists. I rely on the medical doctors. I want to know their thoughts, their impressions of what kind of injury that there is there. And not only do I rely on it, it gives me the permission and the right to say, okay, this condition falls under chiropractic scope of practice, and you can treat here. Or this condition that the radiologists have shown, whether it might be cancer or whether it might be a fracture, this condition does not fall under the scope of chiropractic. We cannot treat you. I have to, by law, refer you to the other practitioner so that you will get proper care. We are safe doctors. We're not uneducated, unlicensed, run-of-the-mill kind of, well, we're just going to go ahead and crack you up without diagnosis. So that's why this talk is so important, because most people never got this information, and this gives the opportunity for the citizens of the Philippines and the world. I have my folks in America listening to this cast right now, and I want you to know that.
Hi.
Yes, say hi to them.
So hi to everyone in the US. But yes, Doc, I agree with you. Ang chiropractor talaga is like what you said. He's a true doctor. So it really just comes down to the diagnosis. And if pwede na lang sa chiropractor, then dito na lang kayo sa chiropractor if that's his scope. Pero kung hindi, just like any other doctor, he's gonna prescribe you to, and he's gonna recommend you to another doctor that yun talaga yung scope, when it comes to treatment. So anyways, Doc, let's go about chiropractic treatment or any kind of treatment when it comes to the back pain. And let's just breeze through this, because I know we discussed the treatments already. But first of all, I know we talked about medication. Now, what do you say about medication, Doc? Like, just really briefly.
Yes, exactly. What I said earlier covered it. Most of the medications that you'll get from a medical doctor when it comes to back pain is not designed to cure a internal organ problem. If there's a degenerative disc or other issues that has to do with a misalignment, you're not going to fix the misalignment. Oftentimes the person's pain and discomfort is from that bone being misaligned. And you can take as much medication as you want. It's not going to realign that bone. That's why when you got that treatment, you're like, you heard the crack, it surprised you, it wasn't painful, but guess what? It cured your problem. So if you were only taking medications to stop the pain and you never got the chiropractic adjustment to realign the bone, now you would continue to have that problem, and it could get worse and worse and worse. So understand, there are proper places for medication. I take my folks, you might have a UTI. You need to go to the gynecologist, or you need to get proper medication for your issue that can cure the UTI. Chiropractors don't cure UTI. They're supposed to. That's out of their scope of practice. If you have an infection, that's not in the scope of chiropractic. But if you have back pain due to misalignment and strain and stresses, the medication will only stop the pain from affecting you, but you still need the chiropractic adjustment.
So the medication, doc, is really just a temporary solution. Let's say I had a bad night of sleep. Next day it's gone right after I take the pain medications because I slept properly. But then kung chronic yung back pain ko, medication really isn't the solution. I should go see, a professional like a chiropractor. What are some other more permanent solutions, doc, when it comes to back pain?
Yes. If it comes to the place where the pain is such a problem, the injurious condition is such a problem, whether it's radiating nerve pain, whether it's the degenerative disc, now it's best to look at your options. Listen to the orthopedic, go there, see what they have to say. There's risk, and some chiropractors, they don't like the guy going to the medical doctor because they think the medical doctor is not going to understand chiropractor, and like, oh no, don't go to him. You need to get my treatment only. Well, that doesn't bother me. I've been practicing since 1986. Just like you have two SIM cards, Globe and Smart. Well, Smart's not going to say, hey, you need to go to Globe, and Globe's not going to say, hey, you need to go to Smart. They both have their approaches, and I think that they both need to be respected. So before surgery, though, even in the language of the insurance companies, they require you to get manual therapy or some kind of therapy before any kind of surgery is even allowed. This is where chiropractic enters. So that's a treatment option, but it's usually the very last option. What other treatments do we have there that we listed? I know I saw a few earlier. Alternative medicine, chiropractic spans over both of these areas. When it comes to alternative medicine, oftentimes chiropractic is associated with alternative medicine. But alternative medicine is usually herbs and vitamins and those kinds of things, that massage, that does not require a doctorate to administer. But chiropractic has usually been associated over the years with alternative medicine, but have moved more mainstream. That's why I'm in the Institute of the Living Life Well, where it's called the Integrative Medicine Group, where they have chiropractors, physical therapists, myotherapy, and other medical doctors, so that we can determine just what's the best treatment for us. So what's the difference between the physical therapist and the chiropractor? There's major differences. So when it comes to physical therapy, usually after you have a fracture or some real debilitating problem and the medical doctors will direct you to get physical therapists, you really need that. Sometimes your muscles has atrophied, gotten small, and you need this kind of physical therapy to strengthen you, to bring it back, especially after you had a very bad fracture or other kinds of issues. There are some overlapping, but it's important to understand that the doctor of chiropractic is a doctor with a doctorate who, and there could be doctorates in physical therapy also, but we have the right to examine you, apply the ultrasound therapy. This is a different kind of therapy that's very important. Most of my patients like it, and they get better faster. So there's good therapies that chiropractors can do, and for back pain that you need to get. And as I said before, you're required to get it before you are subjected to surgery, whether it's in the Philippines or in America. You're required by the insurance companies to get manual therapy, which includes chiropractic therapy. You got it?
So let me just sum up all of the treatments that so I can see if I got what you're saying, Doc. So parang yung treatments for back pain, there's a short term when it comes to medication, pain, but then if it's a really long-term thing, I have to look at treatments like what you were saying, chiropractic care, like manual manipulation, like back cracking, as we call it, or yung ultrasound. or yung ultrasound
Yes.
therapy, which is another one from chiropractors, or the alternative medicine, another form, ibang form siya ng, well, not really chiropractic, but chiropractic is a form of alternative medicine. And then if, may ibang problema like the medical doctor, sabi ng medical doctor, is that like, I need physical therapy kasi my muscles aren't very strong anymore. Iba siya. It's not the same as the chiropractor. Sa PT na yan yung physical therapy. And then the very last resort is going to be the surgery. If, hindi na kaya the back pain and it doesn't work through, it's not getting healed sa ultrasound therapy or some manual manipulation or whatever, then surgery is yung last resort. Is that correct, Doc? Did I get that? Okay. So perfect. So before
you do.
Okay, so let's just quickly run down through our prevention. So how do we go about preventing it? I don't want to go through all of the, reach to the point where I have to get surgery already for my back pain. So how do I prevent it, first of all?
Yes, let me just say that, of course, the orthopedic surgeon, they're the ones who will evaluate your need for surgery. They're the ones who review the x-rays and all of the other diagnostic workup and come to a conclusion. I have found here in the Philippines, though, and I must admit that straight up, there are many medical doctors who will say, yeah, try that chiropractic. We don't want to give you surgery. They give you vitamins like vitamin C and those things that helps to improve the healing of the injury site. So I'm very happy with the relationship I have with the medical doctors here. But yes, when it comes to prevention, learn the right way to pick up heavy boxes. Where it says carry less, more important, it's carried the correct way, where you're not bending with your back, but you're actually bending down with your knees. And when you're coming up, you put all of the weight on your knees. It's very important. And we have some more prevention areas there that I'll comment when it comes back up. But one of the primary prevention areas, just like when you're trying to prevent cavities and getting your tooth pulled when it's not necessary, many of us have had that experience. Like, you need to get proper care here with that tooth. So that's what this is. It's like preventing a more serious problem. Maintaining healthy diet and weight, yes, that helps with your back pain. Oftentimes, heavy weight obesity is causing the back pain. That's a lot of weight that you're carrying around all the time. And when it comes to healthy diet, oftentimes, like I said, taking vitamin B, vitamin C, these things really help heal you. So the other area there that it says manual manipulation, or I'm sorry, to have postural screenings. So in school, just like you get a screening by a nurse or a doctor, you check for this curvature in the spine. These are screenings that can have an early detection that you may have a problem on the way. So postural screenings by chiropractors, by nurses, by physical therapists. Let's see if you follow what mom said. Sit straight. But if you're getting that curve in your back and later you start talking about, Mom, I have back pain, there's where the postural screenings can avoid these problems from getting worse and worse and worse. You see?
Mm-hmm. So, Doc, it really just sounds like a daily care of yung back natin, like back being, one of the important functions of our body is just really taking care of our back with a healthy lifestyle, such as stretching and taking care of our weight and a healthy diet and keeping a good posture. So I think we've reached the end of our segment now, Doc. So let's move on to... Yes, sorry, go ahead.
It's okay. I'm just saying that's important no matter what doctor you see, that you have to have a healthy diet, you have to stretch, you have to, do these healthy things for yourself to help your body stay strong and cure. But if you find yourself in a problem where the pain is not relenting and it's real disability, now you need to make some wise choices as to what to do before it gets worse.
Mm-hmm. So that brings us to the end of this segment, Doc. Now, before we sign off, let's test to see if our audience was paying attention. So we have our segment, Wellness Facts and Myths. Now, how this works, Doc, is we're going to bring up a wellness fact and myth. They're going to answer either, one dot fact or one dot myth. And then ikaw, as the wellness expert, you're going to be sharing with us what the correct answer is after our audience has answered. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, so our first wellness fact or myth is back pain. Can we bring that up? Back pain can affect people of all ages, from adolescents to the elderly. Wellness fact or myth ba ito? So comment one dot fact or one dot myth. What do you think it is? So let's just wait for some of our audience members to come up on screen. Now, how many people do you think are going to get this right, Doc?
This seemed like a pretty straightforward one. Most people can see the young people having pain sometime in their back. Oh, Mom, I got my back pain. And of course, the elderly are often complaining. So that seems pretty straightforward, but I won't answer until you tell me to.
Okay, so we've had 4 people who said it's fact. Now, do you agree, Doc? Are they correct?
Yes, they're correct. It's a fact that back pain can affect you of almost all ages, and even young kids, even toddlers can have back pain, and they can cry and try to give their mother the symptom that they have, but sometimes we don't look at it like, well, aren't you too young to have back pain? But they can, and they can get corrected with a chiropractic adjustment. Just a very, very gentle stretching of the lower back, and the kids love it, they like it, and they'll be laughing and no more crying, okay? Kids?
I think that's what we all want, just stop the kids from crying. Okay, so question 2, or statement 2 actually. Low back pain is only caused by inflammation. So wellness fact or myth ba ito? Again, comment 2 dot fact or 2 dot myth. What do you guys think? So myth from Celia. Tesky says myth. And Lorraine says myth. So what do you say, Doc?
We got some smart people out there. You got a smart audience. Yes, absolutely. That's a myth. There's so many causes of back pain. It goes without saying. We've had this long conversation here that talks about internal organ referral pain and misalignment of the bones, and all these things can cause back pain, along with inflammation. If you have some kind of infectious process going on in the body that can cause inflammation, that can cause back pain, but definitely not the only cause.
I agree with you, Doc. Sounds like they were listening. So, Statement 3. You should rest and avoid or stop activity if you are experiencing low back pain. So wellness fact or myth, what do you guys think? Comment 3 dot fact or 3 dot myth.
Whoa, that's a difficult one. I'm interested to see what they're going to say.
Okay, so we have a fact. Fact.
We have a fact.
And another fact. What do you say, Doc?
Wow, this is another fact. Oh my God, I'm put on the line now. What my answer is going to be here. Now, if it's mild back pain, it's you never had back pain before. You're just overstretched a little bit. You can't tell the boss about I'm going home because Dr. Bodhi said I have to avoid and stop my activity. I'm not telling you to go home from work if you're having that back pain like that. If you didn't have it before, you didn't have any extreme issue going on, So in a way, yes, it's a fact, and it's a little myth too. So I'm saying it's a myth that says the moment you get back pain, you need to go rest and you need to go and stop your activity, like stopping work, or doc, give me a letter so I can give it to my professor that says I don't have to go to work. It don't work like that. I'm not giving you a letter unless you come in for your screening, you get a true diagnosis of what we think is going on there. And at that point, you'll get some advice, what you need to do. Do you need to rest? Do you need a chiropractic manipulation? Do you need to stop all your activity? So this one goes both ways. It cuts both ways. It's that you have to stop activity right away, but it's a fact that it's a sign, it's a signal. If it keeps happening and it keeps occurring and it's unrelenting, now, yes, you need to get a proper screening to find out why is it occur. And then the doctor of chiropractic or your medical doctor will say, okay, let's put you through a period of therapy, which includes rest and not working the way that you were. You see, it cuts both ways.
Right. So I think, Doc, you're saying it really just depends also on, anong cause ng back pain, and at the same time, anong diagnosis or suggestions ng doctor ko, right? Like my chiropractor. Kasi, you had one bad night of sleep, doesn't mean you get to miss work. But if you had an injury, then you get to miss work.
Yeah, and that bad night of sleep turns into a week and 2 weeks and a month. And I've been having this stop for the past 2 years. Well, now we have to look at it very seriously, okay? But one night, no, you don't get off of work. No.
Unfortunately, no. Okay, so our next wellness statement over here is number 4, back pain can get better. So wellness fact or myth? What do you guys think? Comment 4.fact or 4.myth.
I really hope there's I hope that there's a few medical doctors out there too, because oftentimes they need to know the answer to this, because some people have back pain for a very, very long time. For years, they come to me, Doc, I was doing this in the farm and I moved awkwardly, and I went I took the meds and I still have the back pain. So the doctor says, I have to live with this for the rest of my life. Is that true? An opportunity for me to give you a different approach on this question.
Well, a lot of people said fact, Doc. So what do you think then?
I love that because it is a fact that back pain can get better. Now, if it's very mild back pain, most of us know that. We get some rest. We don't strain so much. We get some deep pressure massage at the Living Life Well Clinic, where I'm associated with. They have some very good myoftherapists. They're a little different than chiropractors, and they do a good job. So good deep pressure massage can really bring you back. So back pain can get better especially if it's mild. When it's not mild, when it's chronic, like we were talking about, when you have some injurious conditions in the skeletal bones and the discs, etc., now you have a real journey ahead of you to make that statement true. In other words, you have to really avail yourself of alternative healthcare approaches to make those kind of back pains become cured. And that's our expertise. This is why this program is so important. It's important because it's a doctor of chiropractic who, once he evaluates you, can say, this is the protocol that you need in order to cure your problem. Or you have a long way to go to possibly cure this problem, and it's not my professional position to be able to say that this herniated disc or this degenerative osteoporosis issue will be cured. You may need maintenance. We can reduce the pain. We can get you back to work. but you really may need maintenance sometimes for a very long time. Sometimes I can say for the rest of your life if you have some kind of very severe injurious condition. So back pain can get better, but cured, there's two different things there. One is feeling better, the other is a cure. And doctors of chiropractic are really, really set in a very good position to give you the answer to that.
Okay, well, I think that was a very good explanation, Doc. Yeah, I think that was a very good explanation. It's true, there's no such thing as a death sentence for any kind of diseases or illness or any pain that we're feeling. My hope pa rin, always. It's just that sometimes we have to put in the work. So, put in the work for our fifth question. Did you like that segue? Our fifth question. Exercise is helpful for back pain. Now, what do you guys think? Fact ba ito or myth? You can comment again. Last one, 5.fact or 5.myth. So we have fact from Celia, fact again from Tesky, fact from Carlise, and fact from Venus. So what do you think, Doc?
yeah, they got that pretty good. I think you need number 6 so you can give them a better challenge. But I don't know of any. I don't know of any a back injury that does not need exercise to help you get better and to make it stronger. Exercise is definitely a part of the protocol and regimen to get back. So that's a fact.
Okay. Thank you, Doc. Now that brings us to the end of today's episode. I'm so glad you joined us here today. And it sounds like our audience was really listening in. Because, all of their answers were pretty much right.
Yes. Everybody, I think they called each other to say, hey, what do you think?
Parang nag-team up sila, Doc. I think so. So anyways, that brings us to the end. And I just want to say thank you, Doc. Thank you for joining us here on today's episode.
You're welcome.
And educating us not only about back pain, but also about chiropractic practices. So do you have any last words or takeaways for us, Doc?
I'm just saying, hey, look me up, Dr. Paul Brown Valdez on Facebook, also at Living Life Well, which is my clinic at the Mega Mall. Over there, we talk about alternative approaches. I'm very happy to represent them also today. And we talk about the acai berry. We have it up there because I believe it's a good nutritional approach for things like back pain and other kind of injurious condition that really needs these antioxidants to get into you to help heal you. So not only, and me, I've been vegetarian for over 30 years. So those people who are trying to get more vegetables or transfer their diet into a more vegetable-based diet, the Philippines, they get a lot of pork and white rice, but that's not always the best thing. We need a lot more vegetables in our diet and in our choices when we go to our celebrations back home. Make sure you get lots of vegetables and also your berries. Your berries are healers, those are superfoods. Your blackberry, your blueberry, along with the acai berry and the strawberry. So I'm a guy who is really holistic. I'm really happy to be here with your audience to say you got a holistic healthcare healer here.
Okay. Thank you again so much for joining us, Doc. And you guys can go check out his clinic, like he said, Living Well in Mega Mall, as well as check out, any nearby licensed chiropractor. Kasi baka may iba, they're out of province or they're a bit far out of state, out of the way. So don't neglect to go see your licensed professionals. Kung hindi na pwede sino-sino lang yung masahista or whatever, you have to go to a licensed professional for these kinds of things. So thank you again, Doc, for joining us here today, and I hope to see you again in the next coming episodes.
It would be my pleasure. And thank you very much for your audience to go through my English. I promise I will learn a little more Tagalog next time. Opo, Tagalog.
You and me both, Doc.
Less
Take care.
nosebleed. Thank you so much for having me.
Ingat. All right, thank you for listening in to today's episode. Sorry we're running a bit late. Now I just want to not delay it anymore and take us right to our Olani reseller. So as he was saying, you can try out the Organique Acai Berry supplements at their clinic, or you can buy it from one of our Olani resellers. Now, Olani is our official direct selling platform, which for our Organique Acai products. And if you already have them and you want to sell them to your friends, then we invite you to become one of our resellers. Now, if you don't want to try it through Olani, that's fine. We also have a 7/7 sale on both Shopee and Lazada. So Shopee, my 25% off kami, and sa Lazada, my 20% off. So you can check us out both on Shopee and on Lazmo. Now, we are also on Laika and Zalora. So again, may ibang avenues kami for you. So join us on Laika, talk about it, share your experience with the product. And on Zalora, you can also see us if you don't want to use Shopee or Olani or Lazada. And lastly, we also have another 7/7 sale here on Picaroo. Well, actually, it's not really us on sale. It's more of Picaroo. They're having 7 peso fees only. So definitely check them out. Acai straight to your door. Now, the winners of today's game, we are ready to announce. So the winners of today's game, dun, 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 that is Mary Grace Zuniga Negrillo. We have Christine Nabetse. We have Andre Claire Pedregosa Gaudel. Sorry about that. We have Kring Kring Rosilon, and we have Eric Giebel. So thank you so much for everyone who joined our game. Sorry if you didn't get to win this week, but you will have a chance to win again next week in our next Wellness Wednesday. To the winners, we will contact you separately as to how we will deliver your prize. Now, don't forget to also check us out on our website, www.organique.com.ph. Also, we are on Lazada, Shopee, Beauty Manila, Zalora, everything else I just mentioned. And we are available in Mercury Drug and all of the leading drugstores and supermarkets nationwide. So thank you for tuning in to today's episode about back pain and chiropractic practices. I hope you learned a lot, and I can't wait to see you again next week.
Wellness Wednesdays with Organique. We care because you matter.